Hits 106, Nassau, the Bahamas.
It's about that time. Oh, I gotta free my mind. Oh, it's about that time. Oh, I gotta free my mind. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. See, the time is 4 o'clock. I got to free my mind. Got embrace all. The realest you will find. The time is 4 o'clock. When the nation starts to free the mind. Free the mind. There are many shows on the airwaves, but not like free your mind. Search the FM dial, you won't find none like free your mind. From the ghetto to the office, hustlers, students, and college. From the pews to parliament, all wanna free their mind. The time is 4 o'clock. I got to free my mind. Got every soul, the realest you will find. The time is 4 o'clock. I got to free my mind. Got every soul, the realest you will find. It's about that time. Oh, gotta free my mind. Ooh, it's about that time. Oh, gotta free my mind. It's about that time. Oh, gotta free my mind. Ooh, it's about that time. Oh, gotta free my mind.
Star 106 hits pleasant Wednesday. Good afternoon to each and all, and welcome to another edition of Free Your Mind, brought to you courtesy of Guinness, KFC, Discount Distributors, Pinder Tile, and of course, Muffler World and Juicing for Life. It is a pleasure to be in your company once again. I am the Natural Empress, and of course, I want to say a big shout out to everybody locked and loaded. Channel 976 on cable. Thank you so much. Of course, to all that are tuned in via our social media page, Star 106, and of course, Natural Empress on Facebook as well. All right. Today is Wednesday. I want to call it a Wedding Wednesday, as my special guest joining me virtually, I want to say a big welcome to Tennille Darville of 5 Seasons Bridals. How are you, my love?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
How are you?
Awesome. No complaints.
Well, that's a good thing. Most people don't answer like that. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. But I can't say the same. So my response is I'm awesome. No complaints. God is good.
Amen. So, of course, you are one of the leaders in the game when it comes to bridal services. Let me ask you a quick question first. Why the name 5 Seasons? I thought it was four.
Actually, 5 seasons came from the fact that my mom has 5 children. So I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers. So therefore, those are the 5 seasons. I mean, my sisters, they can bring winter, spring, summer, fall, any day of the week.
I bring winter back.
But yeah, any season you want, they could bring it. But 5 seasons is just for my mom's 5 children: Tazina, Tennille, Toriana, Tristan, and Tanaj.
I love the names. Wow. Okay. Well, all right. So, Beats and I were having a conversation on Monday. And, he was talking about almost like price gouging when it comes to weddings. He was saying as a DJ, he was saying to his fellow DJs, during this pandemic in particular, when you are afforded the opportunity to have a job, to, be able to service your clients, um, just because it's a wedding, why do the prices go up? And I was like, you know what? Let's talk to one of the leaders in the game, and hence why I reached out to you. So, where weddings are concerned, let's talk about what weddings cost prior to the pandemic. In terms of, just everything, putting it together. You're the specialist. What was it like prior to it? Don't tell me what's going on right now, because we're going to get to that. Let's talk about what it was prior to.
Well, on an average, you would find that a client would spend between 15 to 25,000 on average. Obviously, you have persons that fall below that average, and then you have persons who exceed that. But the average price point for a wedding was between $15 to $25,000. But the price gouging does exist. And unfortunately, it's where we are now. You find that a lot of people, obviously, because of COVID, you're cutting your numbers. So everybody doesn't want to spend that anymore, especially because you have less guests. You have some people that refuse to cut their guest count, so they still want that $25,000 wedding, but they're willing to wait in order to have it. But on an average, you would find that most people would spend about 15 to 25,000 on a wedding.
Now, even though there are less guests, as you now bring us into the fold where weddings in the pandemic is concerned, if there are less guests, is it that they tend to want to be, especially the bride, less extravagant because is less eyes on them?
Definitely not.
No?
Definitely not. I think brides now have the opportunity to be even more extravagant because they have less guests. So they would have probably or previously had a budget in their mind that they would spend about $20,000 for their wedding. And what you find is if they now can't have the amount of guests that they want, then they go over and above trying to ensure that every dress stream is now achieved. All of the decor that they previously may have wanted, they now get everything and even more because now they don't have to spend that much on the guest count. So now they're just going above and making sure that they have the wedding of their dreams, even though they have less guests. I mean, it makes sense, but again, if you're on a budget, this is the perfect time for anybody who was on a budget to get married. COVID brought you the perfect reason to say, hey, I can't invite you, but I'll send you pictures after it's done.
So maybe spend more money on the photographer.
You can get a quality photographer now. If you previously only had $1,500 or $2,000 for your photographer, if you have less guests, now you can afford that $3,000 photographer. Now, that's only if you want to spend that amount. If you still want to cut the budget because you have less guests, then obviously stick with what you had. But you get quantity when you have more guests, but you have quality when you have less guests.
In terms of the menus nowadays during COVID, like you said, less means that less guests means that you can spend more. What are menus looking like these days?
The menus haven't changed, they're still the same, whether you want chicken and fish, beef, lamb, salmon, it's all the same. However, you're just now cautioned that because you're not allowed to have such an elaborate affair, maybe consider a cocktail reception instead of a 4-course meal. There are a lot of different variations now being offered, and people are now just giving that, and they're giving those other options more thought because now you don't have to do so much anymore because you have less guests. But again, you still have our wonderful, and I love my Bahamian brides who want to be elaborate and show, this is their day, and quite rightly so. Do whatever you need to do. So before they may have just been offering chicken, now we can offer lobster and steak.
Tennille, we're going to take a quick break right here. We're going to find out what's happening on the streets of Nassau where traffic is concerned. We got the eye in the sky. When we come back, we talk more wedding talk. It's a Wedding Wednesday right here on Free Your Mind. 5 Seasons Bridal. And of course, you know what? We got more of this coming your way, so stay tuned.
Traffic report brought to you by Shield Insurance.
In my first half of the traffic watch now, and overall I can see a good medium traffic flow is still out there and running over several of your thoroughfares. There are a few highlights where traffic is a bit more on the high side. First, we're looking at the ride west. It's slow with traffic in some sections of your West Bay Street flow. It's not that stagnant though, but you will keep your foot on the brakes the entire ride, at least until you get past the Saunders Street roundabout. And then there's the roundabout at Tony's Million Dollar into Malabata Highway, that's stacked on all sides with that consistent traffic flow. From the west side, you've got the single lane Tony's Million Dollar Highway that has this steady flow coming in from JFK. On the north side, there are the dual lanes with consistent traffic flow that's coming in through the Sports Center, and cars are bungling and slowing down and stopping on Tony's Million Dollar West lanes heading into that same roundabout. There's lots of traffic gathered along Tony's Million Dollar eastbound lanes into the Blue Hill Road roundabout. The wait time there is still minimal, but that consistent flow is causing the slow up on Blue Hill Road south lanes itself, and they're hanging at the exit getting into the roundabout a bit before being able to move on. Then over on East West Highway, you've got some congestion at the exit getting onto that East Street roundabout there as well. While there is active traffic movement everywhere, other than those named locations, they're only having a minor delay and slowdown due to being at stop signs and traffic lights. There are no other road obstructions that we are aware of at this time that will affect your afternoon commute so far. This National Traffic Report is service of J.S. Johnson. You can check out J.S. Johnson Online Service Center app. There you're able to view your policy details, check outstanding balances, report a claim, and more. Sign up today at jsjohnsononline.com. Follow our Facebook page, Eye in the Sky Traffic, for regular updates and photos of road conditions, or you can WhatsApp us with your own immediate experience in the streets at 801-1035. Back in an hour with an update.
What's up at KFC? What's up? Ordering your favorite fried chicken just got easier. KFC has joined the chat on WhatsApp at 557-3663. Start your KFC order by messaging hi to 557-3663. Choose delivery or pickup, and KFC will guide you to order from our menu of all your freshly prepared KFC favorites. What you waiting for? WhatsApp your way to KFC today. 557-3663. Only at KFC Nassau. So easy, so good.
For the freshest fruits, vegetables, meats, seafood, dairy, and grocery items, check out Discount Distributors, located number 45 Carib Road, off Chesapeake Road. Download the grocery app in your Google Play or Apple Store and let them bring your grocery to you. That's Discount Distributors. Call 601-0213.
Thank you for choosing Star 106 Hits.
Welcome back. This is Free Your Mind on a Wedding Wednesday, 5 Seasons Bridals. Miss Tennille Darville is with us today as we discuss weddings in the Bahamas and what they cost. Now, Tennille, before we took that break, you mentioned that because of COVID and the restrictions that are now in place, people can spend more on weddings. And I get that. You can now be as lavish as you'd like. You can upgrade your menus, your dress, all of that. But at the same time, I think we lost her. Did we lose her? We're gonna of course do our best to get her back in real quick. In the meantime, in between time, you know what? Gotta play a song until we're able to get her back in. I've got some Jagged Edge. Let's Get Married. It's right here on your hit station. We are Star 106 Hits.
So-called players wouldn't tell you this, but I'ma be real and say what's on my heart. Let's take this chance and make this love feel relevant. Didn't you know I loved you from the start, yeah? Think about all the years we put in this relationship. Knew we'd make it this far. Then I think about where would I be if we were to just fall apart. And I can't stand the thought of losing you. We ain't getting no younger. We ain't getting no younger, girl. No. Feeling you on my mind. Girl, let's just get married. I just wanna get married. Meet me at the altar, yeah. We ain't getting no younger, so we might as well do it, yeah. Feeling you on my mind. And I must confess, let's get married. Baby, let's get married. Said I done it all. Frankly, girl, I'm tired of this emptiness. I wanna come home to you and only you. Cause making love to just anyone ain't happening. I just gotta be with you. Do you think about us finishing something we started so long ago?
Take a picture.
Wanna give you my all.
Take a picture.
Do you think about maybe us having some babies? Come on, won't you be my lady forever, girl?
Yeah, take a picture.
I'm trying to fix it now.
It's you and I just can't wait for that night. Cause I need you here with me. And let's start a family. Oh, we ain't getting no younger. We might as well do it. I must confess, girl, let's just get married. I just want to get married. We ain't getting no younger. We ain't getting no younger.
Star 106 hits, Jagged Edge, let's get married. But how much it gonna cost? That's the question. We've got the experts in the building virtually. Thank you to Tennille Darville of 5 Seasons Bridals to answer all of those questions. Now, Tennille, I noticed on the comments, we got one that says that COVID brought us sense. With that said,
Amen.
before we took that break, you mentioned that, through COVID and, of course, the restrictions, persons are able to afford a bit more. So if it is that you were kind of holding back on the dress or the menu or the DJ or the photographer, you're able to spend a little bit more. But let's talk about the culture, our culture when it comes to weddings. Do you find in your business that a lot of people pretty much hang their hats higher than they can reach it in the name of showboating?
I don't want to say they hang their hats and showboat. What I do want to say is, I think a lot of people don't realize just how much weddings cost anymore. Um, when our parents got married, I often hear people say they spent about $5,000 on their wedding back in the 70s and the 80s,
All of that?
and that's all well and good, but fast forward 20 plus years, 30 years, 40 years, obviously that's quadrupled and quintupled by now. So you can't expect to find a photographer for $1,000. Not a decent photographer, by the way. You do have persons that can accommodate you by taking photos. um, but my expertise with the weddings that we've done, my advice is always to find a wedding photographer, not a friend, not someone who takes great photos, not someone who you go to the studio with and they take great pictures in a studio. But you need to look at the images from weddings that they've done and get referrals from clients if they want to give you their experience with them, because anybody can put up a great photo. What did you have to do to get that picture? How long did it take
Mm.
you to get your pictures? Did you have to fight to get your pictures? These are the questions that people don't ask, they're not aware of, and then they don't understand that that's the reason why you find photographers charging $3,000, because that you're going to get what you're paying for at the end of it all. Um and so it's just ignorance when it comes to what it actually costs. But our Bahamian people, we can show off when we can. So I ain't gonna be, I won't say that we don't have some that do, but in my experience, 8 out of 10 just don't know what it costs anymore.
So, do you get the surprise eye? Do you get
Oh
the
yeah.
eyebrow raised when
Yes,
you start sketching out and writing down what these things are going to cost? You're saying for the most part, it's an element of surprise?
definitely. Um, so we use a spreadsheet, and it's just a simple basic breakdown. This is even before you sign a contract with us or anything, and this is just to help you understand what things cost nowadays. And so all I do is I ask you, how many guests do you have and how much do you want to spend on your wedding? I put your amount of guests in and I put the amount that you want to spend, total amount, everything. If you want to spend $20,000, this is what $20,000 looks like when you go to your photographer, the videographer, the DJ, the decorator, your cake artist. So $20,000 may give you $300 for a wedding cake. Now don't come with no 6 tier cake, because that ain't $300. So herein then gives you the opportunity to say, well, maybe I need a 3 tier cake, or maybe I need to increase my budget, or maybe I need to cut my guest list. And that is the one thing that no bride and groom ever wants to do.
I had
But
no problem doing that. I didn't say that out loud, but yeah.
but COVID
Um,
but COVID made them do it.
right, exactly.
Exactly. But COVID made them cut their guest list. So, it's something that we've been admonishing for a while, so that you can get what you want, and it looks the way that you want it to look. You have the food, you have the DJ, you have the cake that you want, but most persons just were never able to cut their guest list. And enters COVID 2020, and you have no other alternative but to cut your guest list. And now you have everything that you want.
Let me ask you something. In terms of cutting that guest list, right? In terms
Hmm.
of the process of elimination, um,
Yes.
if you were to give somebody some advice right now on how to do that, what would be the deciding factor as to whether or not someone should be invited?
Every family is different. Every family dynamic is different. Personally speaking, um, if you haven't been in contact with an individual in the past year, there is no need for them to be at your wedding. And it's not that you're being rude. Maybe they have contributed in your life, in way before you got to the point where you got married. However, if you haven't seen that person, if you haven't spoken to that person, then there's social media, there's the internet, there's wedding videography, there's highlight film, there's all of these wonderful things that have been given to us where you can share your wedding day after the fact. But I think we've gotten, so our culture is, we have to invite our aunts, our cousins, cousins we grew up with when we were 10. We used to see them when we used to go on family islands for summer vacations, but you haven't seen them in 20 years. But it would be an insult if you don't invite them. Then you have to invite your mummy friend from church, um,
No?
the head usher, because she used to make sure you used to get the right seat. You have to invite your godparents and your god sisters. The culture. The
Woo,
culture forces us to add so many people to our guest list, and it's our parents, and it's our parents' parents, because now Grammy got to come and Grammy friend got to come, because Grammy neighbor used to watch you when you used to be over. So it's all these different things that that forces people to add names to their guest list. But you haven't seen these people in years. You haven't spoken to them in years. Why do you need to have them at your wedding? Send them a photo. We were thinking of you. You contributed to our life, and we wanted to make sure that you saw this is what happened. This is what happened. Send them the highlight video. We have amazing videographers. Send them 5 minutes of what happened on your wedding day, and they'll feel like they were there.
But anyway, in terms of virtual weddings and virtual guests, how many people are subscribing to this new method now? Now during COVID.
I think a lot of people um, have embraced the virtual experience. Let me put it that way. And I think it's beneficial to everybody. I mean, you have so many people that offer the services now where you can have your live, you can do Facebook Live, you can have someone come and do a video stream, you can do Zoom, you can do all sorts of different things, and it cuts your costs down. And with COVID, with the restrictions in place, you can't have that many people there to begin with. So let's use what we have and embrace the fact that we can have 1,000 people at our wedding without having to pay for all of them.
We're going to take another break right here to Neil. Of course, it's a
Yes.
wedding Wednesday. We've got 5 seasons
Yay.
bridals joining us today, so keep it locked. More to come.
Imagine that's where every advancement begins, with an idea that things can be different, better. Now,
Okay.
imagine a world where your entertainment experience was
So
all
how much
about
you
you,
spent on your wedding,
your style,
Empress?
your show, at your
Me?
budget.
Girl,
Yeah.
Well,
if I
that's what
spend
we've
if I spend
imagined.
8 grand,
To join the conversation and learn more about the
it
future of
wasn't
where
even that
can be,
much.
visit us at
Yes.
And guess what? And guess what? This is way before COVID. And can I tell you, I had 50 guests.
and I got plenty plywood and
50.
I walk the tools. I say, Kenda, I noticed a
50.
connection in there somewhere.
Till
But
I
I
could
ain't
tell
doing it yet.
you, we
I'm gonna
want
say
20.
time, tools,
Listen to me.
wood.
I
See how the
I
clients
had
look, 'cause he say,
25,
look, when
and
people
he
got
had
time on their
25.
hands,
Now,
they
mind
need to
you,
find something to
both
do
of
with
our
it.
families
So,
and friends
so they
opted
could
up
get
with
a good deal on
25. But
plywood
guess
and
what?
tools, and
I
then
did
they could build
exactly what
something.
you said.
Oh, yeah, I'm scared there,
When
Lampkin.
last I see this
Lampkin, I'm
person?
selling blue edge
When last
plywood,
I pour
utility
into my
grade
life?
plywood, and my Milwaukee.
No, you're not going
15%
because you're
off.
my
Sale
mother's
runs
sister.
through
You're
end of
not my
February.
favorite aunt.
Live
I
from the
even
capital
know
city
like
of the
that. That's
Bahamas.
real talk. Like, I have to be
This
real.
is
You know what I mean? Mommy,
Star
this one was your
106.5
neighbor and she used to
FM.
watch it. The same thing you said. I was like, okay, that ain't gonna cut it. No, I'm sorry. There we go. Star 106 hits. Yes, indeed. Free of mine on a wedding Wednesday. And of course, this was all sparked a conversation Beats and I had on Monday. And, I said, you know what, let's bring it to light. And to do that, we've got the expert, Tennille Darville of 5 Seasons Bridal. Tennille, in terms of, all right, let me read some of these comments thus far. This one says, you want to read that one? We need to be smarter now. Again, you don't want to call it showboating, but I will, because a lot of people have these weddings. For me, I'll say this: when you see people having to take out loans to accommodate their wedding, that's a problem for me, because if you love this person and this person loves you and the love is reciprocated, why do we need all of the show? Why is it that we're going to pay someone way after the wedding to facilitate this wedding, aka the bank? You know what I'm saying? Why not spend more time and money on building a house? Why are we getting married, spending this extravagant amount of money to live at your mama's house? Ain't doing it.
No. I think but like you said, it's because, maybe me and my fiance together, we have sufficient for the 75 people that we want to invite. But then our parents force us to invite 100 other people who we haven't seen in years, and so forth and so on. So the pressure then comes to keep our parents happy, because the wedding is for the parents and not for the bride and groom.
See, we got to change that though.
I know.
You see, once you grow up and you name man and woman, And
Hey.
I can attest, and you know how I felt about my parents. Love them dearly. This was their first wedding. You understand? But I had to put my foot down because by the time the old lady started compiling her list as to these people who was in my life when I was knee high,
Mm-hmm.
no, mommy, it ain't gonna happen. And she would, her lip would quiver to the side, and
Yep.
that was the end of that. And I think people need to grow up, yeah, and
Yeah, I
be man
agree.
and woman, and put parents in place when it comes to these extravagant lists for these weddings.
I agree. I agree. I totally agree. Um, it's unfortunate. And I think, Kalanj could tell you, I think, and even my sisters, because, we all work together. But I think the one thing that I cringe is when I hear the word the bank wants to know who to make the check payable to.
See, to me,
And
like a you to don't do it.
it's 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 the one thing that I cringe at, and it's not because I don't want to get paid, because I do want to get paid. Um, but it just says that you've already started off someplace where you shouldn't be on this journey as husband and wife. You never
Amen.
want to start off in debt. And my advice to brides and grooms is, if you find that
Listen,
what you have
you ain't
collectively
gonna do that.
together
You ought to be
is
scared.
not sufficient to do what you
Your
want,
mommy
then
more.
that is the first lesson as husband and wife, to compromise and cut.
Now listen, I'm reading this one comment from this lady on Facebook who says, "As a former banker, I could tell you it makes no sense.
Hey,
Bank will be calling you after you done showboat."
they want that payment, so show off all you want. They coming for their money.
How often in your time of doing this have you found people who are happy, kind of sort of dressing up for the JP? You're doing this all based on love. You love this person, they love you, but we still can spend a couple dollars on just a dress. How often does that happen in the 242?
Ironically, it never happened
What?
until COVID. Never
Oh,
happened
okay.
until COVID. Every bride that we've had wanted that Cinderella fairy tale experience. They wanted their 1 hour. They wanted to walk down that aisle. Nobody wanted that JP experience. Now, my advice to any bride is, listen, after they've already, yes, after they've already eaten the food, after you've already drunk whatever it is that you're serving, you only have pictures and your video after all is said and done. So you should look good, have a great photographer and a great videographer. Those are the three, and it's, yeah, you should look good. Your decor should be decent. But all you have are your photos and your video. So there's no need to be, you don't have to have filet mignon and serve 5 courses and all of this stuff, because at the end of the day, it may not agree with your stomach and you can end up somewhere else by the end of the evening. So you understand, it's like, you get it, like, so don't spend money where it's not going to matter by the end of the day. Everybody wants their guests to have a great experience, but a great experience doesn't mean you need to go broke to do it.
All right. So here's another question. In saying yes to the dress,
Yes.
what's the most costly, the most extravagant dress you've ever clad a bride in?
The most costly dress that we put a bride in would probably be a $7,000 Lazaro dress.
$7,000. Now, here's the question. And you know how I felt about buying a dress.
Yes.
What's the purpose again? What's hold on,
So,
sorry, don't say anything to Neil. I have some noise in the penny section who says so that my daughter can wear it. Wrong answer. Think about the time a 9-year-old, say 10, 15, 20 years from now, she's not gonna want that. Right, Neil?
no, gone are the days when daughters wear their mother's dresses.
Oh.
Um, You find that some would probably, if it's been saved, if it's been preserved, then you'll find that you have some persons that are actually, they're symbolic enough, and they would cut a piece from it and add it to their dress, or
Cut a piece.
um
I never
they
even got
they
that one.
they remodify the dress. But in the past year, we've had two of our brides who have repurposed their wedding dresses, and they've made christening dresses for their babies. So,
So wait, so we're gonna spend. Let's talk about a $7,000 dress. The person who you dressed in this dress, did they
yes.
buy that dress or they rented that dress? And if they bought the dress, what they doing with the dress today?
Well, up until November of last year, we didn't rent dresses. And
Oh,
only since November, we're now renting dresses. So that dress was a purchase. But when you
no,
consider how you feel in a particular dress, I
I don't
can't put
know.
a price on that.
No,
Um, um,
you agree.
you may feel the same way in a $1,500 dress, but I can't tell you how to feel when you try on an expensive dress. Now, mind you, that particular dress was a simple, elegant, classic A-line dress from Lazara.
$7,000 dress. Don't forget the price tag now.
It's the name, my love. It's the same as when you go away and it's comparing a Tesla to a Nissan or Swift. I like
Okay,
what
but
I like.
at the same time, that same Swift and that Nissan is going to get you from point A to
To
point B.
point
Now, if
B,
you can afford that Mercedes Benz 2021, then by all means. But are you finding that these people who are spending extravagantly, can they really, really afford it? That's the question.
well,
That's the question. All
we
right. Now, it's funny that you mentioned you mentioned a great photographer. I see a very good one on this feed right now. As far as what they
Hey,
cost, maybe we should ask him, shouldn't we?
yeah, Jay.
What's the going rate for a great, like you mentioned? There's a fundamental difference between someone who takes a nice picture and someone who is a wedding photographer.
Correct.
You
There's
see
a
Jay on the
difference.
feed, right?
I see Jay. So Jay, what you say?
What is the going rate for a wedding photographer? Because you talk about making those memories. I think the DJ is just as important, rather than to feed that five-course meal, because the DJ helps to create that party, that memory. You talk about having a good time, and the MC, somebody
MC,
who's going to make it happen. That when
definitely.
you think back, man, I had a good time at Wally's wedding. You know what I mean?
Yay, definitely the MC and the DJ. They carry the event after the food and festivities and the formalities are done. So definitely you want a great DJ, not someone who just playing the wrong song at the inappropriate time.
Yes, yes.
Oh my gosh.
I guess you've
we
seen
had
that happen once too
we were
many
at
times.
one wedding and the DJ played "If You Think You're Lonely Now, Wait Until
Man, I
Tonight."
wish.
I'm like, dude, she just got married. What?
Woo, woo. Man,
So
I
it's
can't. Yeah, that's so
again,
true.
so it's a friend of a friend or a family member. So it's all fine and good to use persons who are gonna, give you discounted services. But when that awkward moment happens at your wedding, everybody's going to be laughing and talking about it for a good 15 to 20 minutes until they play the right song and get everybody
Party song.
back on track. So, those are the things you have to consider. But Bahamians, we are a people who we always believe that there's a discount somewhere. We're always looking for a discount.
Read these
And there's a wonderful saying, you get what you pay for.
Boy, Tennille, I don't know. I
So
don't know because I like I said, I refuse to owe anybody for my wedding, and I refuse to feed the 5,000. It wasn't going to happen, and today I'm happy to say I going into my 11th year, um, not owing anybody. I think you can still pull off a nice wedding, intimate wedding, a affordable wedding, and still quote unquote please the masses.
I believe you can, and COVID has proven that you can. Um, I like I said, you have your photos and your video at the end of the day, and obviously you have your memories. Your memories, you can't take that away. So as long as you have the right vendors in place to ensure that you have a smooth flow, the right DJ playing the right music, the photographer capturing the moments, the videographer catching the emotion, all of those things add up at the end of the day. And if you have 20 people or 30 people, it really doesn't matter because a marriage is between two people. So at the end of the day, if once
Hallelujah.
you said I do, then that is what really matters. I think we've just gotten so accustomed to to the quote unquote showboat mentality that everyone feels like they have to have 150, 250 guests. And the truth of the matter is, you don't. I think the more intimate your wedding ceremony is, the better it is.
So, Tennille, for all of those that are planning to, jump the broom, as they say, and they want the expertise of Five Seasons Bridals, how do they find?
We're on the website. You can just contact us. It's 5seasonsbridal.com, the word five. Just click appointment button, set up an appointment with us, and we'll be happy to talk with you. Even if you don't use our services, we don't have a problem having that conversation. Um, there's a consultation fee. So if you use what we give you, wonderful. If you don't, you know,
Cool.
better luck next time.
No, it
Um,
shouldn't be a next time.
oh, sometimes there are.
Oh,
Like
Lord, that's
like
another
Kalanj and
topic
I
for
say
another
all
day.
the time, like we don't get mad if someone doesn't use our services. You know, it's there are a lot of people out there who can provide wedding planning services. But I live on an island that's 7 by 21,
Right?
and if I see you next week, I want to be able to look you in your face and say, "Hey, we did your wedding." And we have that
Exactly.
relationship with so many people. Like you want to be able to give great service all the time. Things happen every wedding. There's something that happens. But if your friend doesn't know what to do when the food isn't coming out or someone has an allergic reaction to something, these are the things why you pay someone to be there to ensure that things go smoothly. Um, Not everyone sees the value in hiring a wedding planner, but the ones that do, they'll tell you, listen, they didn't think they needed it, but they eventually got one and it was the best investment that they made.
Gotcha. Well, Tennille, it's been a pleasure as always. We're
Always,
way
always, my love.
overdue. We didn't talk about the makeup artists and the hairstylists. I think I'm
Man,
gonna continue this series. I gotta get my crew back in. But thank you so much as always. It's been a pleasure.
same here, my love. We could do this next week. We could call Tara and Dominic.
How you know so? We gotta find the other two. I have to have the three amigos once again.
Yes, yes, not a problem. It was a pleasure as always. Thank you so much for giving us a call.
Thank you so much. And of course, folks, you know what to do. Keep it locked, top of the hour, 5 o'clock. You're driving five with yours truly, and DJ AI comes your way.
Yay!
They're smooth.
And then there's Guinness
All right,
Smooth.
Neil, I can talk to you
It's a
later.
brand new
All
cool.
right, my love. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you
Perfectly
so.
balanced.
Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Refreshing taste.
So how smooth? Well smooth. Guinness smooth.
For a smooth and
How are you,
refreshing
darling?
taste. New Guinness Smooth.
My
Must be
baby.
18 years
I
or
ain't
older.
watching you
Drink
with the big one.
responsibly. Socialize responsibly.
Join Juice In for Life and Jim and Juice for the Big Win giveaway every month in 2021. All you have to do is spend $20 or more in any of our locations. Fill out the contact detail slip, drop it in the box, and you will be entered to win a 50-inch LED smart TV every month. Come and enjoy a variety of smoothies, juices, salads, sandwiches, and wraps, and build up with our countless supplements. Juice with us and win!
Hey, what's up? This is Omi.
You found it.
Hey, this is Tori Kelly.
Yo, what up? What up? It's Wiz Khalifa.
Your number one source for today's hits and yesterday's favorites. 106 Hits.
I'm going under. I am going over. I'm going under. I am coming over. I am coming over. I'm not going under. I am coming over. I never break under pressure. I always rise high. I'm a champion backed by the Most High. No sinking for me. All I see, victory in front of me. If you dig a ditch for me, you better dig a ditch for you. I'm not going under, going over. If you dig a ditch for me, you better dig a ditch for you. I'm not going under, going over. Can't keep a good man down. Can't keep a good man down. You cannot stop this show. I am blessed where I go. Can't keep a good man down. Can't keep a good man down. Solid as a rock. Knock me down, I get back up. I'm gonna dress up in my finest. Put this behind me. Got so much work to do. Gonna make my next move, my best move. Come what may, I'm going to upgrade on the way. Got to keep the faith. Can't keep a good man down. Can't keep a good man down. You cannot stop this show. I am blessed where I go. Can't keep a good man down. Can't keep a good man down. Solid as a rock. Knock me down, I get back up. You got to feel the fear, but you got to keep on moving. I know the devil's there, but I got to keep on moving. Cause you didn't bring me this far to leave me. Trouble all around, but I know you keep me. I will smile again, hope again, dream again, love again, smile again, hope again, dream again,